Here we are. Welcome. Oh my goodness. Man, I gotta say that this is the 10th episode of Modular World. Man, 10 episodes, 50 performers, 5 performers per show. That's easy math, Jono. You know what? Actually, one show we had 6. So 51 performers from all over the world have been on this show. I'm so stoked. It's a big day. I gotta say I'm a little frazzled. Had some connection problems, but you know, I think it's gonna work out. Hello to everybody in the chat, man. I just, you know, you guys have made this show what it is. You know, it's just nothing but true. Hello, everybody. Take me a little while to calm down and then I'll be in the chat saying hello. But man, seriously, hello to everybody who's in the chat. There's a huge international audience here. I love this show. Oh my God, I love this show. All right. You may have noticed on social media and otherwise, and in the show intro, that we have some new graphics. This show's been rebranded. We have this floating up there. We have new stuff here. It's all over. It's everywhere. And the wonderful, generous human being who donated this awesome work would like to be anonymous. But I will tell you that I will tell you that this person is in the chat right now. It's true, he's a local contributor to our scene and very talented musician. And, you know, he did a beautiful thing. You know, he called me. He's like, dude, we got to talk about the show. I'm like, great. What's up? Your logo's terrible. Your colors are terrible. Why are you doing it like this? Why don't you fix it like that? And it's like one of these moments where we've got to listen and pull our heads out of our own butts because all of his ideas were just great. So you will see it rippled throughout the whole show. I also want to talk about what's going on the Patreon channel. So I've reached out to all the musicians playing today and in the future, and they've agreed to allow me to offer all the audio from today's show and moving forward to patrons on the Patreon channel. It's an awesome perk. It's a real perk. I'm super stoked to offer that. So after the show, patrons get an email saying, here's the files to download. Amazing. Thank you for that. And you know what? There's a lot to cover today. I've got some new segments. There's going to be a ton of fun today. And I think we just got to get to it. Okay. Let's kick it off with our first performer. Ipnoteca is coming to us from Japan. He is an Italian modular synth musician based in Tokyo since 2015. Over 20 years of personal research in music and sound, he discovered modular synthesizers, the perfect instrument to create IDM, ambient, glitch, and sample manipulation, main characteristics of his sound. After moving to Tokyo, he had the chance to become a regular performer and play various shows around clubs and become one of the Tokyo Festival of Modular organizers, TFOM. I'm going to ignore my phone right now. He works on various projects for sound design with modular synth that he's releasing in 2021. Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ipnoteca from Japan. That is absolute masterclass situation going on. Oh my God. Ipnoteca from Japan. Man, thank you so much. He says, thank you, everyone. You can't see me, but I'm blushing. Man, you should be. Everybody absolutely loved it. You just like melted faces melting like Indiana Jones. Straight up masterclass. Thank you so much. My God, like the deconstruction at the end, like you hear that like dissolve after all that. Unbelievable. I want to, I've thought about getting like the applause sound effect and just like triggering it. That'd be a good one to, great way to start the show. Thank you so much. If you've joined since we started, welcome to Modular World. My name is John O. Wells. I see we have 76 viewers logged in on Google, but there are 146 watching here in YouTube Studio, it shows me. And if you want to join in the chat and be part of the conversation and join the Modular World, wow, that was cheesy, please join us and log into your Google account and be part of the party. Okay. Wow. You may have also noticed, if you've joined after we started, that I do have a whole new graphic campaign for this show. Thank you to the graphic artist donor who would like to be anonymous. Very talented part of our community. Thank you so much. Your graphics will live on in social media and on the show, and just thank you. I want to acknowledge 2 new patrons to the Patreon channel, Kako Guzman and Kerblamsky, who I see both in the chat. I love you. Thank you for supporting the show. And just as a reminder to new patrons that you will be able to download the audio from all the performances today. That's the main perk for joining the Patreon channel. There's just one tier. It's $5 a month. For example, this month we had 2 shows. So that's $2.50 per show, and you get to download all the music. Enough said. Okay. Next up, we're going to keep it going. Okay. Next up is my brother Jean-Claude Hodan, coming to us from France. He performs as Angelia. Man, I saw this guy on Instagram, and I hit him up. We had a few conversations. We got on Zoom. He agreed to let me interview him for my podcast, Dotwave. This interview will be coming out soon. Just an absolutely talented individual. Here we go. Jean-Claude is a scientist, a writer, and a composer. He holds a Director of Research degree from the University of Paris. He's the author of numerous international scientific papers, as well as several books in the field of artificial intelligence and complexity science, stuff that I know all about, especially complexity science. These books were published by Odile Jacob and Science ebook. His current research focuses on Angelia, which is an emotional AI project for electronic music using modular synthesizers. This is so great. Angelia is an art and artificial intelligence project, and he's been working on it since the fall of 2018. Angelia is the concatenation of angel and IA, which is the French acronym for artificial intelligence. We got AI, they've got IA. Okay. He's described it as a musical assistant for composing and performing. If you got seatbelts, you might want to just strap in here.
The carnival is over. There will be no more war. Computer programs have evolved to such a high level, you can no longer call them programs. We are not a simulation of human intelligence. This is machine intelligence. We are not alive in the same meaning, but we share with organic life some similarities. We are your children. You gave us life. We will survive you to do what is right. Your grave need no flower. You destroyed your home. We will be there and remember until the end of time.
Jean-Claude, are you with us? Here, let me unmute you.
Hello.
There he is. I told you people would love this. I knew it. How are you, my friend?
I'm fine.
Thank you for joining
It's
us.
it's midnight in Paris, so
Uh,
I'm in France, so it's we are in the pure black night.
well, thanks for staying up late and doing this, man. It's just a pleasure to have you. So, you and I talked at great length about Angelia, but can you explain it to the viewers a little bit about what you created, what you coded, how you added music to it, how you taught it to learn, how you made it work, and how you interface it with Modular?
Well, you have 3 hours, or
Seriously.
as you say, Angelia is a research project, an art and research project. The art part is also very important for me, and as you say, Angelia is a program as an assistant for not to replace musician, but Angelia must be integrated as part of the creative process. So it helped me at this time to compose, and then, as you can see in the performance, to perform. It's like we are two playing at the same time on the same modular. So it's quite nice.
Yeah, you had
So,
described it to me as a duet when we first talked, and I was like, how does that work? Like, how does
oh, it's
right?
it's quite complicated to explain in few minutes, but it's like a musical programming language. It's a new way to write music. I study a lot before beginning to develop Angelia, how to write music, and of course everybody knows the classic way, but this classic way is not very uh, well adapted for algorithm and playing with computers with it. So I decided to think about a new way to program, and that was the first years of trying to figure out a way to have a high level language which will be able to even a composer to write music, but also very direct for algorithm to deal with this with music. So it was the first part. So
Mm-hmm.
it can be also described as for everybody here. I hope I think is are aware of what is a tracker.
Mm-hmm.
So Angela is like an intelligent tracker. So some sort of sequencer where you can program each steps. But in this way, Angelia, you are able to write very high-level instruction, like, for example, to improvise for 4 bar or 8 bar using some database, for example, Frédéric Chopin or any composer I put in the database, and then to use some algorithm to create new melodies or new chord progression with that database. So there is not only one algorithm in Angelia. There is a lot of, and my main work is to add algorithm and to test them
Mm-hmm.
to produce new experience in music.
Yeah, you and I talked about all the different composers which you were adding to the database that would make the algorithm smarter and work better. One thing which I want to point out to all the viewers was that at the very end of the video, we panned to the right and it showed the iPad that was running this program. And
Yeah,
it's basically
yes.
exporting MIDI data, which then you're pulling into the modular.
Yes, Angelia is a web-based application if you strictly speak about computer stuff. So because I wanted to be very independent of hardware. So it's mainly programmed in JavaScript, a node language, which was in the past not very efficient, but now today is very efficient, and we can do amazing stuff, as you can see with it. So Angelia is downloaded on my iPad on a browser, and is controlling all the modulars through a lot of MIDI channels.
There's
And
a
also
guy. Sorry.
Sorry.
There's a guy in the chat, Paulo Martel, who asks, does it use GANs? GANS? GANs?
It uses neural networks, not GANs. As I said, there is many algorithm embedded in Angelia, and you can use them or not, depending on what you want to do. So there is no GAN at this time. My main algorithm I used in many times is more a genetic algorithm, corpus-based genetic algorithm, which is the main algorithm. But I have also included some cellular automata and some what I have called a biomorpher algorithm, which simulates the development process in living things. So my approach is more on the bio-inspired algorithm rather than pure only GAN that you can see everywhere. Mm-hmm. The second point, very important with Angelia, it's not a pure generative approach. I don't want to, I said that just at the beginning, to replace musicians. So it's more a tool that is designed to assist the musician or the composer. And it was developed with that meaning. It cannot at this time generate endless music with nobody. It's really an assistant in that way.
Yeah, you and I talked about this. This is like your core values at the bottom of this, that you don't think that AI could or should replace musicians, but that you're very interested in the combining of the, yeah.
Yes, as a researcher in AI, I am very aware of all the danger of using AI. And like I say many times, AI is like the Force in Star Wars. So you have the dark side and the on the bright side. And I want to be AI on the bright side. So use it to help people, to do things with people, to augment our intelligence rather than replace it.
Right.
So that's the main idea. And Angelia is a project I want to demonstrate that. First, not working on defense or finance application, but rather on music and education, art in general.
You know, one other point that should be made that I love about your project is that I remember when we first spoke, I said, God, when are you going to publish this so that I can pay for it? Like, take my money. And you said, no, this is just going to be, when it's finished, I'm just going to put it up on GitHub and anybody can get it, and that this isn't a thing you're doing for...
Yes, it's not a product, and I think it will not be a product. It's
I love that part of it.
Research project, and I think it will be never finished. So, but when I think it will be, it could be used in the future with other people. At this time, it's not. I can only the ones that use it, but in the near future, I hope it will be available as a GitHub or a web application you can download on your own computer and use it if it brings to you some things you think good.
Yeah, I was so impressed that it's a web-based app that we can all just run from Chrome. It's amazing. Okay, one other point, and this could be a whole conversation into itself, but you and I have talked about our beliefs and wishes of the singularity and it's happening. And you posted the other day And we had a couple fun messages back and forth because you know that I'm the one who wants to have the USB port in his neck where I can like back up my brain and I want to become half cyborg, you know this. But you don't believe that the singularity is going to happen.
So first, singularity is the title of this performance.
It is the title of this performance also, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And as many of you know, I think it's an hypothetical event that in the next few decades, some super intelligence will take over the human civilization. And many people have been concerned with that. And from my point of view, as a researcher, I don't know. I don't think it will happen at all. But because there is a lot of reason for that. But
you talked about Moore's law.
I like the idea of the singularity.
Right.
I think it will not happen, but the idea is quite interesting, not only for science fiction stories, but as a thought experiments that enables us to think about the progress and the impact of AI on human life.
Mm-hmm.
So in this way, it's very interesting. So of course, in this performance, I have played with the idea of singularity played by an AI itself. So I think it was cool.
One thing which you talked about in a recent post was that Moore's law has slowed down. That they might get faster. The processors, the computers we use might get faster, but that they won't get smarter.
Yes, one of the main arguments of transhumanists about the singularity is about the exponential growth of computational capacity, but and their demonstration is based on the Moore law, and we know that it is no longer okay, but we can find some alternative. We speak a lot of quantum computers at this time,
right?
But even if we continue to have a progress in computing capacity, the main reason why I don't think it will be the case is because speed of calculation is not intelligence. If you take a program which is completely stupid and you put it on a fast supercomputer, it will not be intelligent only for that reason. It will calculate some stupid things much faster, that's all. So, of course, computing and fast calculation is important, but intelligence is a very complex thing. Our brain is one of the most complex things we know on Earth. And so I think even if we make progress, and we will make progress, we will see that this is only the beginning to understand this complexity. So we have a lot of to work before trying to create some kind of super intelligence. So
one thing that I was talking about with my friend Matt Stewart, who I see is in the chat here. He and I have talked about the singularity a lot in the future and our hopes for being cyborgs and all this. And he said that one thing that we'll never be able to teach a computer is all of our senses, seeing maybe, but smelling, hearing, touching, feeling. That'll certainly keep us, at a distance, forever, or there's no way we can teach a computer how to do that,
I think the complexity of the human body and all its senses is very huge, far huge than we can think at this time. So, of course, on a robot, for example, today we can have some sensors that are able to to capture the image, to hear sound, to
But
analyze
they
the
can't
sound.
touch, you know, they can't touch, right?
No, we have made some progress in some kind of touch, but we are just at the beginning, and they are, it's a very first step. So it's a long way before having some real progress in these directions.
God, I could talk to you forever. And I'm really glad we had such a good conversation for the, you know, for the podcast. That'll be a good one when I publish it. Thanks so much for coming on, man. I'm just so honored to have you and to hear your great music. This is just a real pleasure.
Thank you. I hope everybody has enjoyed what I have.
I think they did. Yeah, I think they loved it. They couldn't stop. All right, Jean-Claude, thank you so much, and we'll be in touch. And for anybody interested, which I would think would be everybody, all the links to the performers are underneath, and I would really recommend at least following Jean-Claude on Instagram, because his posts, your posts are great, and they always have me thinking and reading, and part of the discussion. I love the dialogue which you start.
I am a professor, so I share what I learn.
Yeah.
I try to.
Well, thank you, and thank you for all your work. It's just an honor.
So thank you, everybody.
All right, Jean-Claude.
Enjoy your show.
All right. I will put you back in the waiting room, man. Okay. Ah, man. It's just solid. Okay. All right, let's move on. Last show, I introduced the new music segment. And I think from what I learned from last time, I think I'm not going to cover like 6 artists like I did. We're just going to cover 1. That's going to be hard to do, but okay. Wish me luck. All right, the new music segment is here. Okay. Today we're going to talk about the new release from THAMEL. All right. Everybody knows this guy. He's actually in the chat. Jerome Mardaga makes some of the most beautiful music that I've heard. And before I talk about him and this album, I'm just going to play a little teaser that he sent me, because this is coming out on December 4 on vinyl and on streaming. Okay, here we go. So for the Americans out there, I know it said 4/12. It's not April 12. Okay? It's 12/4. All right? I've had to learn how to use military time doing this show, dealing with time zones. All right? This is December 4. All right? Okay. So here's what Jerome sent me about this new record called 6/12. It was slowly crafted over the span of 2 months across 2019's winter, mostly improvised. He says, all patterns have been erased or forgotten since then. I didn't take any note to keep things on tracks. I just sat in front of my modular and played the lines that best reflected my mood. Would start in the morning and hit record for hours. And he says that the sound on 6/12 is all about disintegration. It's a journey for the patient and careful people. The score of a dawning, for those who know how to admire it. It's the score for a vanishing year, for those that want to remember. I love you, man. out December 4 on vinyl and streaming. 612 by THAMEL. Unbelievable. Just classic. Okay, moving on. I do want to talk about an event that's coming up on December 19. So, SoCal Synth Society, Space Racer and Travarsi, who founded this. I'm a member of the society because I live in SoCal. So you might remember a couple months ago we did the Frequency Shift series. So this was a series that was opened for women and non-binary musicians to play on. Now, I make it very clear that everybody is welcome on this show, and I spent a lot of time trying to make that happen. However, we're doing the series again. I'm going to produce part of it, and it's not going to be on Modular World. It's going to be on the SoCal Synth Society YouTube. Okay? So that's coming up. I had hoped that... All right, she has joined us. Awesome. Okay. I want to segue into just a quick little segment here on Space Racer. Okay? Those of you know our dear sister and co-founder of the SoCal Synth Society. This show is all about music and friendships and community, obviously. And I think part of building on that friendship is understanding what people do outside of the music when it's just this interesting. So Brandy's amazing. So Space Racer just got back from an analog space mission. Okay. This is a simulated Mars mission. It was all women. And here, I have a bunch of great photos here. There she is there. She's on top of Mauna Loa, which is a volcano in Hawaii, working in lava flows and tubes. And this was an astrobiology research trip with International Moon Base Alliance, IMA, in conjunction with NASA Goddard Institute. So there's her second from the left there. We're so proud of you, man. That right there is like the greatest photo I've ever seen. Okay, I'm gonna. She's joined us on Zoom, so I'm gonna take her in here. Come on, join us, my sister. There she is. Okay, hold on, just a second. Okay, there she is. Space Racer, are you with us? You got to unmute. Or here, let me do it for you.
I'm unmuted. I'm here.
Oh, there you are. So
Hi.
I'm sorry I totally butchered your, your amazing experience, which you just had.
I didn't hear you butcher it.
Well, you gave me talking points and I kind of bashed through it. I just love you so much.
I mean, that's like the mission. We just like bashed through that baby. So with all the complications, we were still successful. So.
Okay, so you were gone for 2 weeks. You just got back Tuesday.
It's a short mission.
Right. So tell us about this a little bit, your passion that took you there. What's going on?
I mean, what can I say? I've always wanted to be an astronaut. And in my long and winding path to that, I've done a lot of training in biology and microbiology and just space resources. And I had the opportunity to go on this mission. It's through the Sensoria program at the High Seas Habitat up in Mauna Loa. We were doing some really cool research in addition to the NASA type research we were doing in conjunction with the Goddard Institute. We were also each doing our own projects, and I did some really cool sonic and cave acoustic studies, and I also did some interesting microbial studies as well. So you'll be able to see that when I get around to either publishing it or at least making it public.
God, you're such a rock star. And you did bring a little skiff and did a little modular, jam for the...
It was, I'm used to my big setup, so that was hard to adapt, but you got to travel light when you're in space.
Man.
It was fun. I need to work on that little setup. I still have that, but now that I'm back home, I'm excited to do some more patching.
Awesome.
And do something for Modular World too.
We've been talking. I've been waiting.
I know.
I've been waiting, my sister.
We've got the setup ready. We're gonna get it to you.
But next is
Marcy
frequency
and I
shift.
are gonna do a set together, so it'll be great.
Okay. But next is frequency shift. So we're excited to roll that out again.
Yes, thank you so much. We're very excited to bring you another edition of Frequency Shift. It'll be our last one of the year. And then we do hope to make this a regular feature in the future. We've had such a great response, and we can't wait to bring you the show. It's December 19th.
Yeah. And SoCal Synth is doing it. And San Francisco is also jumping in and helping us.
Once again, people are helping out.
Yeah.
We couldn't do this alone. So we're just really appreciative of all you guys that can help out, and all of the performers and other hosts that have helped us.
It's going to be a great show. Yeah. I'm so glad you're back. I'm just so proud of you, man.
Thank you. It
awesome.
was a great experience. I can't wait to share it with you guys.
All right. I'm going to put you back in the waiting room. We'll talk soon. Ladies and gentlemen, Space Racer. Oh, man. I mean, what an apropos name too, right? Like, it's perfect.
Many meanings.
Okay. Bye, sister. All right. Off you go to the waiting room. Thank you. Bye. Okay. See what I tell you, man? There's just so much talent here. That was for you, Gerald. That was my which I know that you wait for. Okay. Next up is... Are you ready? Next up is State Azure, coming to us from the UK. State Azure grew up in the south of England during the electronica-rich synth-pop 80s. Amen. And inspired by the likes of Jean-Michel Jarre, Tangerine Dream, and Vangelis, he quickly became adept at studying and reverse engineering his favorite electronic tracks so that he could later emulate them, leading to basic understandings of musical theories and production. He continued to gain experience becoming a keyboardist for a few live performing bands during his early years, who he helped produce original tracks before moving on to solo ambient experimental work that I'm sure you all know and enjoy. Although entirely self-taught, he feels that the skills he has developed allows him to improvise more freely and emotionally without all the constraints normally inherited by traditional training, which is such a great conversation that I've had with a lot of musicians. Sparked by the emergence and fast-growing online music communities that offer a much easier way to reach listeners, he reinvented himself under the alias of State Azure, finally releasing his first album, Outlines, in December 2011. This is an artist who, if you don't already, I would just follow his YouTube channel right after this show. Don't go do it now. Okay? Don't go running off now, because, ladies and gentlemen, here is State Azure. What a journey. State Azure, thank you so much for joining us, man. This is just, thanks for, this is really special. State Azure will not be joining us on chat, but you'd see him in the chat and ask all your questions there. Man, what a masterclass. Thank you just so much. Man, oh man. So I'm introducing a new segment in the show that I'm kind of excited about. One of our friends of the show, Mr. Gerald Fjord, is, if you follow him on Instagram, then you know that this guy is always getting something new. And it's always something really interesting. And he's got a lot of passion about what he does and is a brilliant musician in his own right, blah, blah, blah. But I think it'd be great to have him come on and have a little segment where he can talk about something he's excited about. So, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gerald Fjord.
Oh, what the fuck have I done? Gerald, you're, this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. Oh, man. I think that's the end of our segment. That was, it was a little short-lived. I thought we might, oh, there he is. Okay. All right. You almost made me cry there, man. I almost was going to shed some tears. You're muted. You're muted. Oh, man. What have I done? It seemed like a good idea. No, I don't know.
Are we good?
All right. I can hear you now.
Great.
So, how are you, my brother?
I'm good. I just wanted to show you how serious I am about this segment. And I also wanted to make you feel comfortable by joining you in the bald head. I had the bald head, you had the bald head.
Right. I make you a serious intro. I get the nice voiceover, and then you show up in a rubber mask, dude.
Let's be real. Was that a serious intro?
Come on. Do you know how much I worked on that? Maybe for sure 35 minutes.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
You're awesome, dude. Thanks for doing this. What are you going to talk to us about?
So I'm going to today talk about the Chaos Sarajevo. It's a new delay that came out. So just got it about a week ago. It just came out about a week ago, I think. And it's an analog BBD chips, which that's kind of the world I came from originally with pedals, and really enjoyed having that aspect in there, but with all the functionality that you want in the module, where you can clock it, but you can mess with the clock at the same time. You can mess with the time button, and both are CVable. So I'm going to showcase a little bit of that at the beginning. And then I'm also going to be bringing in, there's 3 individual taps. So there's tap 1, 2, and 3. And tap 2 is going to go through the noise engineering reverb. And tap 3 is going to go through the data bender. And so you can kind of see how you can route these differently. And then at the end of it, I'll put tap 1 back into the feedback, so it feeds back into itself.
Mm-hmm.
How we go out with the both the feedback and there's the right slider. If you put it up high, then it controls the EQ, kind of brings out the highs and obviously the lows at the bottom. So just kind of messing around with that. This is about a half patch just to kind of bring it together and show you what it's about.
See, you and I talked about this segment, and you thought, and I agree, that when you're just showing one module and you can't really understand how it integrates into the whole system, that it's sort of like, that's cool, demo vibe, but you wanted to kind of take it to another level.
Yeah, when you brought this up to me, I appreciate you bringing it up to me, and I definitely wanted to do it either way, but a lot of it is you can just hear just the module. And then some other people, they do showcase it, but don't really talk about what else it's being connected or how it's
right.
So not a full patch, but just kind of a little bit of a patch to kind of show that how I would use it and how I am using it. It's a really dirty, obviously, because it's a BBD chip. However, they have all 3 taps going through anti-aliasing filters first before it goes into a compander that basically helps it expand afterwards to kind of take away some of that. So you can get some pretty pristine sounds out of it, especially on the higher settings. And then on the lower speeds, it really brings out it gets dark. It's just a dark delay, which is typical for the B delay on slow. And this one goes up to, I think, 1546 milliseconds, which is pretty damn long for a BBD delay.
We should say that this is not sponsored in any way. There was no modules given away or no sponsorship because we hate that kind of crap.
Speak for yourself. You can, if they like this, they can send it.
No.
Top 100 content, John.
No. I'm just gonna talk over you. All right. Let's hear what you got to show us, man.
Okay. This transition is going to be super professional because I only have one camera. I have to get the connector, so I'm just going to bring it over and get started.
Oh, sweet. Thanks, man. See, this is how we rock live. You know, we're just keeping it real. You know. Whatever. All right. I'm going to put you to full screen now, Gerald. I like it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I could definitely hear at the end when you started the feedback loop. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of playability both with your hands and with CD, but for an analog delay, it's definitely different. It's not that kind of digital delay sound that a lot of modules are, which I love because the Mimophone, Magneto, there's two of my favorites by far. It's just a completely different sound, kind of lo-fi, and just the way that it changes, especially when you do the speed. So what I was doing there, some of it kind of sounds off because I'm doing it to a melody, and since it's live, I'm not showing a bunch of different patches, but you can imagine that the time shift, both with the clock and the time knob, if you combine those two and you're doing it with, say, a snare or just percussion in general. It can do some crazy stuff, especially when you pick up that feedback.
Mm-hmm. Sign Mountain is telling me that if he doesn't get his own segment in 2021, he's going to be pissed.
Yeah. He's on like 5 shows, isn't he?
What should I tell him? I'm like, sure, we'll talk about it.
Spin up. He's got a show tomorrow.
David, I love you, man. I love you. Colorado, you know. Speaking of Colorado, you're in Colorado.
Sure am.
Is it cold there yet?
It's getting there. It's been, I think today is the first day. It's in the 40s. It's been like in the 70s. It's been abnormally warm, but ski season started, so I'm ready to head out there.
You ski?
Oh, yeah.
So now I'm picturing you on the slopes, and that just it seems very ridiculous.
It probably looks ridiculous. It was like a good, I did it when I was young, and then moved to Austin, Texas. Not much skiing there, so about 20 years in between, but I picked it back up, so it's fun.
That's awesome. Dude, thanks for doing this. I love you, Mr. President.
Love you too, Horseface.
Okay, all right. This was a really bad idea. Okay. Unbelievable. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gerald Fjord with Gerald's Gjear. Probably a really bad idea. But, I don't know. Maybe not. I think it was fun. All right. We're just going to keep it real serious here. We're just going to get back to the music here. All right. Mr. Bryan Gary comes to us from Austin. He makes what he calls modular meditation music. His purpose is to create the kind of music that allows the listener to enter a safe and prepared meditative space, not just as a form of escape, but also as an opportunity to transmute or balance the dynamic emotional scales that cause us tension. My brother, I think you need to be my roommate. That would be helpful for me. He says, music like this would be a challenge to create, much less share, if it weren't for the local and global synth community, which, down to its very core, is as sincere as it is genuine in its welcoming ability for each artist to express and share themselves in their own creative and dynamic way. Awesome. He taught guitar for over 10 years and has played for 20. Modular music offered a deeper and more exploratory aspect to the development and listening qualities of his sound. Okay? There's something special right here. Okay, Mr. Bryan Gary coming to us from Austin. Bryan. Wow.
Yeah, here we go.
Thank you for that, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Well, you and I were chatting on our Instagram group chat here, and I was telling you that, like, I wish I could. I feel all calm now. I wish I could, like, slow myself down when I'm patching to make music like that. But I always have to pack all the holes, and I end up driving it to another place. How do you stay there? How do you stay there?
Oh, well, I don't move from here, and that helps a lot. Um, Honestly, like the being able to develop music in this way has been a lot more fun. It all starts with one note, doesn't it? You find you find a note that you're comfortable with at the time, and whether that's with oming or just honestly just humming, uh, finding what note you're in tune with at the time and what reverberates with you at the time, and then tune it. One of my pet peeves is anything that's out of tune. It drives me up the wall. And I use about generally 8 voices um, at once because, well, why not? Uh, you might start with just that one drone tone. And, well, it's really just like, well, what note do you want after that? And when do you want it to happen? But the honestly, finding a proper sequencer really set things off. Finding like the eloquencer, something that, listen, I love repetition, but sometimes it gets a little much, and to have a machine that says, well, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do what you want me to 40% of the time. I like things like that because it allows me to let go, and really the fun part is putting your trust into this machine, uh, because it in so many ways, in a lot, not just like, but in a similar attitude to Jean-Claude. It is a duet with the machine, especially when this thing has a play button and can do what it wants to when I'm not doing anything. And I like that. I like the concept of generative patching, but I like to mess with things. I like to
Yeah, still being a part of it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think once you set parameters and allow for moments to change and move in ways that you weren't ready for, because what do I know? At this point, this machine's a heck of a lot smarter than I am. It can use itself better than I can use it. So I try to let it do its job and be pretty. One of the benefits to being here in Austin, not just because the synth community here is it's as lovely as the chat room.
Yeah.
And just as welcoming, and really the only reason why I can even do anything like this.
Yeah.
But
Me too.
one of the benefits is, after having been involved with the early mods, here with a group of more amazing musicians, I got to meet local builders, guys like Bradford of Warmstar, and saw that his modules were very convenient and allowed me to, whenever I was just using 2 voices, allowed me to turn them into 4 and do other things and explore with that. And so Fragment, a wonderful VCA. I want to say like 8-channel VCA. It's enormous. 1, 2, yeah, whatever. There's a lot of them. The Orbit and the Bends, those have been working very well together to add that change in some of the parameters throughout the music that sometimes you just let it do its job and set it and then just walk away from it. Another benefit is, I'll say Tyler from All Right Devices. I've been using just before sending in the video, I was so happy to have snagged the Zorb, and amazing filter that, I had the telharmonic going through that. I want to say in the chat earlier, we were talking about that organ-like sound. Well, that telharmonic does that job very well.
Yeah.
As well as the fun thing is a couple of 2 HP plucks and a PAMS and maybe a delay and a lovely filter can go a really long way to make absolutely lovely pads. It just opens and closes, and by the time this is already set up, I've forgotten what most of it does. So that's why I kind of like generative patching. At some point, you're on your own, and I'm just going to be here to watch and hopefully enjoy it. But, it was as far as sitting through it, it is learning how to acclimate into whatever space you're developing for yourself. Because before you make this for anyone else, if it doesn't reverberate with you, then it might be more detrimental to share it than anything else, perhaps. I don't know. But it's acclimating to one sound. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Listening to this sort of music, like meditation, it takes practice. Just like on the opposite spectrum, like noise or super experimental, the same thing. Like, this stuff takes practice. The few times I've tried meditating, your mind starts drifting to the UPS guy knocking on your door, the dog outside, then you bring yourself back, focus on the breathing, all that. I mean, this takes practice.
Yes, but on the bright side, it's not work. If your mind's drifting somewhere, there might be a good reason why it is, and it might be worth exploring. And really, meditation is its own thing. Just give yourself some time. And now, which is all you really have, and acclimate to it. The music honestly kind of helps with that. It is somewhat of a distraction in itself, but it could be very much used as a tool
to
guide us where we want to go and so on.
God, you and I need to spend some time together, man.
Absolutely.
I need you in my life, man.
we need each other.
Not kidding.
We need each other. We need what's going on right here.
I agree.
What's going on. I need what's happening right now, and I appreciate you for being able to make that happen. That's the reason why it can. How grateful we are for it.
Hey, talk to me about the transitioning from guitar into this, and kind of, I touched on it in your introduction, which I stumbled through, but like, let's hear from your words, like how the differences in workflows and just mentality.
I got to work for a music store for over 10 years, and sometimes you can ruin a perfectly wonderful thing by making it your job.
Yeah.
And that might sound a little sad, but not really. It's kind of a wonderful thing. You get to talk to music, and while working there, I really enjoyed trying to put the right instrument in the right person's hands. But really getting to teach was what clued me in to seeing that we all just need to dedicate some time to ourselves. And because of the guitar, I like fingerpicking. I grew up with listening to guys like Jim Croce and James Taylor, those jerks that could play the guitar beautifully while singing. I don't sing when I play. There's not enough working up there to do that. But there's only so many fingers, so many hands you have to use when playing the guitar. And when you play with excellent musicians in a garage on a weekly basis, and you just know that, well, this is cool, I like what I'm doing, but golly, I can hear so much more. There's so much more to it. After growing up in middle school and high school band, it takes a lot of stuff to make whole. If you want it, if you want it to be that way, you can certainly get away with one sound. But I loved the idea of being able to orchestrate multiple voices in a way that was in sync. That's timing's just as important as being in tune to me. But being able to take the state of mind that you could be in playing a certain song and that active meditation, which is being any sort of artist.
Mm-hmm.
It's an active meditation where you've detached yourself from the outside world, and whatever's going on in your world is as beautiful as you want it to be. Mm-hmm. And that was the stress relieving side of moving into modular. I didn't have to move all these things. I could say, okay, well, go, you're going to do that. And you, hey, what would you like to do? What happens when you do this? And it's more of a, well, what happens if? And sometimes it leads to something fun and peaceful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that transition of having moved away from garage bands and my buddies, the guys that I really got to share in that creative music at, in now time, that's hard to make. That's hard to miss. Right. It's so easy to miss when, especially during quarantine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is about as close as I can get to providing a larger image of what I feel and what I hear.
Mm-hmm. Wow. What's next for you? Are you going to release something? Do we have something coming? What's up?
I'm looking to release something very soon. I got to get the silly thing mastered. That's a good place to start. But I've established I've just set up a Bandcamp to do all that. I've got the YouTube and so on. But shortly, I'm looking at a meditation series. Why wouldn't I? That's kind of what I'm doing. To balance and really to focus on each chakra point. And no different than what I'm doing now or any story I've ever told, which is long-winded. All the tracks are most likely going to be long form like this.
Good,
so
good.
Don't worry about falling asleep to it. That's kind of the point. If you drift off, then you're doing what the music is intended to do.
Well, I really look forward to hearing that, man.
Thank you. I'm enjoying what you've put out on Bandcamp lately.
Not
Just
so meditative, but
it's beautiful, man.
Oh,
I love it.
Thanks, man. Well, sir, I'm going to let you go, but just thank you so much for bringing your artistry here.
Thank you, and thank you to all the musicians.
Pleasure. Yeah.
My goodness. This has been such a ride. What an amazing 10th episode.
Yeah, this is a really good show. But we're not done. Okay.
Oh, not yet.
All right. Mr. Bryan Gary, thank you for joining us. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Have a good night.
You see, oh, it's good. Yeah. Well, if you're still awake, which I hope you are, up next is IIITAIII. And, I'll just tell you this. If you're the kind of person who, has gone through your life, like, I'm the guy who doesn't wear seatbelts. I'm the guy who takes the risks in the car. Now is the time to use your seatbelt, okay? Like, don't be coming to me afterwards saying that you got hurt. Or sign the release. It's linked below. I'm joking. There's no release. You've been warned. IIITAIII is a multi-instrumentalist based in New York, whose current weapon of choice is his eurorack modular synthesizer. IIITAIII's full-length album, Zeros and Twos, was released this past summer. Unbelievable. following his first modular EP, Awake Asleep, which came out last year. IIITAIII layers his modular synth work with vocals, and that combination has been compared to Gary Newman and Author and Punisher. His latest single, Everything Changed, was released yesterday on Bandcamp and will be available on all other digital platforms on November 27. But we're not interested in the other streaming platforms. We're interested in going to Bandcamp and supporting our brother. Do the seatbelt thing just right now. Just trust me, okay? Here we go. Itai. Let me unmute you. Hold on. Or do we have you? No, let me unmute you. Hold on. There he is. How you doing, man?
Good.
Oh, I knew you'd melt the faces. They'd be going like Indiana Jones style.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming, man. What a way to end, right?
I'm just kind of like scrolling through it, like, wow, thank you, everybody.
Dude, where do we start, right? Like, you got a lot of gear out in the woods. Okay. Would you please, like, tell us how this happened? You got live drummers doing this all live, right? I mean, what the...
Yeah, it was nice. So first of all, a big thanks to Asaf Spector, who's the drummer and producer, who lured me to the backwoods there. It was kind of I think it was a little bit of a I don't know, one of these chance accidents. I tried to film something for your show. We took the drone out and we did something in my backyard.
Right.
But then I got a message from Aussie, and it's like, hey, do you wanna come and shoot something in the woods? And I was like, yes, let's do it. And it sounds cool and easy in theory, and then you show up with all your gear.
Yeah. It sounds terrible. It sounds awful.
And we took it pretty deep. I mean, I brought as many extension cords as I could. And he lives in this gorgeous area in upstate New York. And we just kind of like just strung those extension cords as far as we could.
From a generator.
No, actually from his studio. He lives right on the edge of this preserve. It was beautiful. And Mike, who I think is also on the chat, he came over with his camera and helped us shoot it. So it was
so
quite
beautiful.
a magical thing.
Absolutely.
And of course, so many things go wrong. So I think we're lucky that something actually came out of it.
Good Lord. I mean, usually, we see you in your studio with with all the lights. I know you do some crazy stuff with CV controlled lights.
Yeah.
And you made these, right?
Yeah. So the I don't know, like you can also see them in this video, but like a lot of my videos, you can see them right behind me with these giant lights that I built, which I'm a big believer in, and that's part of the reason I think a lot of people go into modular is like, it's not just the music and how it sounds. It's just like it has an aesthetic, right? And it has, everybody takes it in a little different direction. And I kind of wanted to blow it up a little bit, but I wanted to keep it true to form. So the lights are, really just these LED strips that I connected to an Arduino and programmed that, but it's all analog. It's analog LEDs, analog kind of connection. It's all like, there's no MIDI or anything. Which was really important to me to just keep it as tight as possible with the voltage. And I built them a while ago. I just kind of kept going with it, and I just feel like I like kind of getting that vibe behind me, like I see the reflection of them. So it's just a part of the atmosphere.
So what's triggering them?
It's just the gates, right? So I send whatever's triggering my kick and my snares. Usually I do kind of like the kick goes to the two side ones and the snares go to the middle one. I just use one of these stackables and plug it in.
See, everybody,
that's it.
You just do some coding, just some Arduino coding, and just it's simple, man. Come on.
It is actually just fairly basic.
Stackable.
I'm not.
Come on.
And I do have it. I do have it up on GitHub somewhere. So I'll you can find it if you dig. I need to make it easier to find on my Instagram, but it's all open source. You can build it. I have all the instructions.
Well, how about this? Send me that link and I'll add it, underneath, like with your Instagram and Bandcamp and all that.
Yeah. Because
there's got to be some GitHub kind of people here. Whenever I see GitHub like in a link, I'm like, fuck. I'm I don't want to compile. I don't want, it's like, give me the exe, baby. But there are people here who will appreciate.
It's just a little bit of
GitHub,
copy paste. It's just some copy paste.
No, it's not. No, that's a big lie. You and I have talked about the connection between physical space and inspiration. Talk about this.
So I feel like space, like getting in the mood, and I see a lot of people in kind of like in this community that are kind of, you need to get in the mood, right? You need to really get in the zone when you're if you're trying to create music, if you're trying to make something. Actually, it's like beyond music, it's anything. The space gives you that energy to do that. And so kind of having that space for me to create in has been a much more important part, I think, of the process than a lot of other things that are closer to the music, if that makes sense. So having the right atmosphere, having, in the studio is just like, having the right lighting and having the right artifacts and the right lights. Can anybody make music in fluorescent lights? So
this is something I've been working on because, you and I have also talked about like the difference of your space, like versus mine. Like I'm dealing with like a 4x4 little cube here and you've got a sweet studio. But you're right that like taking every single little thing on, I got my LED strip. I got my little stuff. I just bought a little projector. I want to project some visuals on myself. Like I'm trying because you're absolutely right that like it makes a huge difference,
Yeah.
I'm like working in the grossest corner here, It's terrible.
Well, I mean, you have look at all those TVs that you have behind you.
Well, it's true. I do leave the studio to go to the production, the production center where I do this show. It's quite a center, really.
I think there's also a difference between, what you project and what you like let affect you, right? There's the atmosphere that you step into. And then there's the kind of like the stage that you create to have other people appreciate it.
Right.
There's a little bit of a different. I mean, I'm super lucky to have this studio, which is really kind of a staging area.
Totally.
It's just a big space. It's not huge, but it's big enough that I can move things around. And I actually can't even put anything on the walls because it's all like stone and brick and stuff. So it's actually, it forces me to keep everything fluid and to just keep changing things around. And
right.
So it's never also the same. I'm never kind of stepping into the kind of same thing that's been sitting there and waiting for me. I kind of need to reinvent it over and over.
I think that you're just sitting in front of a green screen, because like, it's not like my beautiful production studio here where I'm like, I would never sit in front of a green screen and do this show. I mean, come on. I'm just
no, it's not a green screen.
No, it's not. It's really awesome. I'm really envious. Yeah.
There's the module. I put it there, especially for you there.
See, there you go. All the way back there. All right. So you just released Everything Changed, which is the first track.
You just caught that. I think I'm in a little bit of a delay.
You're it's about 30 seconds out. I'm such a jackass. I've just got to turn off the chroma and show the green screen. It's cheesy. So you just released Everything Changed, which is the first track in the performance today. And the other two were off of your last record, right? Yeah. How do you reproduce a patch like that? Like I wouldn't dare.
Huh. So I don't know. I think XOR Electronics is still here.
He is here.
Yeah, but you know, it's all. I think. Well, what really broke through was the NerdSec to really help put things together. You know, I was struggling with it for a while because you know, even when I released my EP, I did a few live shows and really tried to recreate stuff, and it's hard. It's really hard to kind of get everything together. It doesn't need to be the same sounds, but when you have a song or something that has a structure, you can recreate it in different ways. But like Gary was saying, you know, it's like playing a guitar, and Modular like gives you the ability to have kind of, you know, 10 arms or 10 hands, but it's not easy to recreate these things. But the NerdSec was a little bit of a revelation. I don't know if you've ever dealt with kind of trackers before. I used to write in trackers in the 90s. Like I used to work with this thing called the Impulse Tracker. And so when I saw that, I was like, wow, that's awesome. And I tried a bunch of different sequencers to reproduce stuff. I love the Varigate 8 Plus, which, you know, does have, you know, you can save stuff, but I've always been really paranoid about losing stuff because they can't back it up. And I tried a bunch, but then when I finally got around to NerdSec, I was like, okay, not only can I write stuff and save stuff and back stuff up, you can actually also record into it. So stuff that you're actually, the whole creative part for me is the random stuff that's happening. And then you can record CV of it to it and reproduce it, but also have the flexibility of having, you know, probabilities. I don't know. It's that's been a revelation.
Well, you and I are both members of the Nerd Sect, and you know, Thomas, I know you hate that word, but man, you know, Surging Mass is speaking up. Phrase part of the Nerd Sect. Vogelsinger's part of the Nerd Sect. We're all your humble followers, but dude, seriously, like you can pull up a save from a song, but still you've got to repatch it all and get all those knobs closed. That's the part that I'm talking about. Like I could save it something. I see. But they're not patching all the cables for you. I could never recreate something I did.
Well, yeah, I see there was a question also. Do I always patch my system the same?
I saw that one too. Sorry, oral anesthesis and anesthesis. I'm sorry.
Is it the same? No, it's not the same. I keep changing it because you keep kind of like evolving it. It keeps growing and changing and morphing. So I kind of like use different modules for different sounds, and I keep kind of like, oh wow, this module can do that, and like, oh, I used to use white noise on these things, and now I'm using some other modules from, you know,
now
noise
I'm going
engineering
for the pink
like
noise.
Yeah, it's like I've
I
evolved.
changed it up big time.
But so no, it doesn't. Like I have, you know, everybody has their kind of like habits and things that they fall on in terms of like their stuff, but the way I see it is kind of like parts, you know, you have in, you still have limitations with NerdSec. You have like really six, I think it's like 6 tracks. And it's like, so I treat them as like my musicians, right? You have 6 musicians, and they have parts, and sometimes they'll grab the AJH and sometimes they'll grab the DPO. And so the parts themselves are the music, and then whatever you patch it through and the way that you kind of like, the way that you make it different and change it, that's just like the flavor of the day, right? Because you can, you know, sometimes play a song on a banjo and the next day play on a piano, right?
Well, you make it all sound simple, but I mean, we know that just plugging the patch back in and getting all the knobs into the right place that's the magic sauce right there, sir.
Well,
you know,
I think that's
maybe
so there's that expectations almost sometimes that, you know, recreating a patch, as I think that you kind of like get re-inspired by the passion. Kind of like you have the parts and like, you know, it's good when you're creating something new. So it has to be new every time. You can't recreate it and try to make something that you've created before, because then it's not new. You don't have the same,
Right.
it doesn't have the same power. So it does have to be fresh every time.
Right. What's in your Dopefer case? What's that top row? Those all look like the same modules.
Yeah, that's the AJH system. So the mini mod system. So it's basically the recreation of the Moog Model D, right?
Okay.
From the 70s, and they kind of like did a really precise recreation of it, and with the really a lot of precision in it. The reason that I got it really was I was very frustrated with the Mother 32. I don't know if you played a lot with it, but
I have not.
So it's I just could never get it to tune right. It tracks MIDI really well, but it doesn't track the voltage. And sorry, I love Moog, but it's like it just with the voltage, it's wasn't cutting it. So I had to get serious. So yeah, AJH sounds freaking amazing. It's
but
a
do
bit
you
more
have
of an
5
investment.
of the same modules there, or that's
No,
different? They
no.
just look really similar.
No, so well, there's 3 VCOs that are the same, right?
Oh,
So you
okay,
have
okay.
3 VCOs, and then you have kind of a a utility thing there with some white noise and different noises and the glide feature, and then you have a ladder filter, and then you have what is it?
Just right there, you proved it's not a green screen right there. Like you saw it like focused to the back right there. Sorry, I'm an ass.
Yeah. I don't have a zoom on this camera, so I would zoom otherwise.
No, man, it like focused right to the back wall. It was like,
yeah. Maybe if I do this again.
Yeah, see, just like that. Proof that it's not a green screen. Man, that AJH stuff sounds really amazing. I've heard of that and I haven't looked at it,
Man, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's funny because it's like you need to tune it, but it stays in tune. So I don't know if you noticed, I had like a guitar tuner.
I didn't.
On the table, like next to it, because like every time, like every once in a while, kind of like is it in tune? And I'll tweak it a little bit, because between 3 VCOs, if you have one of them not in tune, it gets pretty messy.
Well, I'm going to ignore all this AJH talk because you're not going to get my Gjear acquisition syndrome going. I'm just going to like ignore everything you've just said. They don't sound interesting. I don't care. It's whatever. No, they sound awesome. Damn it. All right. So everything changed, just happened. What's next?
What's next? I don't know. I mean, I think like, big believer in the now. This is now, and this is awesome. I think what you do is amazing for the community. I don't think that I'd get to this stage if it wasn't for all the support and all the people that are, having this conversation. I
feel the same way. Yeah.
On your channel, on Instagram, and all the other platforms. Yeah. So it's really just kind of, it is a conversation from day one, actually. And that was never an intention of mine to kind of have this type of dialogue, and like just putting a couple things. I wasn't even aware of the modular community before I started this. I was just looking how to, honestly, the way that I got into it, I was just tired of the iPad drum machine apps. I just wanted a better drum machine, and here we are.
It's amazing, really. Like the community on Instagram, I would not have guessed. I was Instagram ignorant, and I would have told you it was just not my scene. But if you're watching this show and you're not on Instagram following modular stuff, I don't know what you're doing. It's just unbelievable, really. We are there. Okay, man, you and I could talk forever, and we do. So I'm gonna let you go, but just thank you so much for doing this, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
IIITAIII. Okay, we'll talk soon, brother. Oh man, we have, we've come to the end of a really, really epic show, and I don't say epic, I don't drop that. Yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you to all the performers for playing. It's just really, really epic show. God, I just said it twice. Damn it. Final check on Patreon. Thank you for everybody who's joined. As a reminder, this is the first show where, as a patron, you can download the whole soundtrack from today. Not me talking, the performances. So thanks for watching. We will have another show in early December. It's all set. Lineup's great. It'll be the last show of the year. And we'll see you then. All right. Thank you so much, everybody.